Okay, we just took a look at North Carolina and Duke. Let's take that a step further, guys, and take a look at the upcoming ACC Tourney. Some of the best teams and some of the sleeper teams. We'll start with you, Jim. Virginia, they're certainly not a sleeper team, but are they built right now to win 3 games in 3 nights?
Well, based on what they've done so far this year, I mean, this team is 25-5 straight up. They're 14-2 ATS. They're in a 2. Well, under the total, they play good defense. Brogan and Harris lead the team. Strong club. I mean, in this environment in the ACC, which I'm not really that high on any of the teams, I think Virginia is actually the best of the group. I think they can win it all. Can they stay focused to do so? That's always an issue, especially after you win the regular season. But reality is, every team in this league is flawed. Take a look at Pittsburgh, for example. I mean, here's a team that's 22-7, but this team is 6-15 against the spread, and then they blew a game last night against North Carolina State as an 11-point favorite. This is a totally flawed team. It may come down to coaching, not doing a good job keeping them ready. Syracuse peaked early, number 1 in the country, but now recently they're 2-6-1 against the spread, 26-3 straight up, but they've lost those 3 games recently. So, like I said, I'm not real high on these teams coming out of the league, but in the league, I do think that Virginia is the best of the group.
Well, Jeff, let's take a closer look at that Syracuse team that Jim just mentioned. 26-3 record is sizzling. However, they're not covering games of late and even have trouble winning on a 2-6-1 ATS run. I mean, what's the real orange crush, or are they primed to get crushed in the upcoming tourney?
Well, it's a team we've seen from Jim Boeheim last few years. What they do, they play a relatively easy non-conference schedule. Sometimes they wait until January to play a true road game, and then when the conference season starts, they have problems. They only had 1 true road game before conference started this year. It was St. John's in December. And then and now they've lost 3 out of 4, and as usual, just like last year, they're not a good shooting team. And those 3 losses that they've had in the last couple of weeks, Boston College, Duke, and Virginia, they shot combined 36% from the field. And I know they have this zone defense that keeps them in all the games. Once in a while, you just have to outscore a team, and they're not capable of doing it because they're just not great shooters. Tyler Ennis, 41%, C.J. Fair, 43%. So that's the problem that Syracuse had this year, and they had the same problem last year. So that's why even though they definitely every year they have a chance to go far in the tournament, but that would be the reason that they don't, because they just don't have the offense, and we saw that on Saturday against Virginia.
Well, I'm going to take a look at this Pitt team, because I think they have the makeup and the balance to have a good run in this tournament when you play so many games back to back. First of all, as Jim mentioned, they're not covering games, 6-15-1 spread run. However, they are on a recent 5-3 run under the total. And when I take a close look at them, terrific inside game with Patterson and Zana, both seniors, and then the 6'8 freshman, Mike Young. What they do is they like to go down into the low post, get those high percentage shots. They started the season 18-0 when they score more than 25 points in the paint, but when they don't, just 4-7. That's something that I think you're going to see them go to down low for high percentage shots during the tourney. And then the balance overall, I mean, they're 5th in the ACC in defense, allowing just over 40% shooting. They're 2nd in the conference in steals, over 6.5 per game. And the offense is 2nd in assists. So they do a lot of things well. And I think that they can probably excel in the tourney when playing those games close together. And keep in mind that when they win a game, they're really good at over the total, 25-1 over the total following a win. Jim, another team that wears orange, not Syracuse, but Clemson down in South Carolina. How are they built for tournament play?
Well, it's one of the poorest offensive teams in the country, 62 points per game, 337th in the nation on offense. But they stay alive, strangling opponents on defense, 3rd in the ACC in points allowed, 59 points a game, 9th in field goal defense. But like Jeff said a couple of minutes ago with Syracuse, every once in a while you have to score some points. Somebody's going to get hot against you, and that's going to be an issue. When you look at these teams, they have a couple high-scoring teams in this league, and then you have some defensive clubs like Virginia, Clemson, and, well, as I can just say, Syracuse. And it's at some point, you got to open up the offense. You got to get it done on offense. Now, I'm not against defense at all. I'm a big defensive guy. Defense wins championships, but I don't think Clemson has the mojo to do that.
Jeff, you see other teams that may surprise or slip down the stretch?
Well, Florida State is one team that has a big incentive in the tournament because they need to have a good showing because just to have a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. This team would have to be Syracuse on Saturday for one thing, but this team has size, depth, and balance. They play great defense. It's kind of surprising that Seminoles have lost 11 games this year. They're 3-8 against the spread the last 11 games. I can't really figure this team out because they do have talent, they do have everything, but they just it might be the same problem with the teams Syracuse. They don't have enough offense. But Florida State, if you're looking for a team that has motivation in the ACC tournament, it would be Florida State because they need to win, and they need to win, maybe even go to the semifinals or even win it to have a chance to go to the NCAA tournament, John.
Well, I'll take a look at NC State, and I'll get right to the point. This team is going to take a quick fall no matter where they play in the postseason. And on the plus side, they're a one-man show behind the 6'9" sophomore T.J. Warren. Just phenomenal numbers, over 23 points per game, 7 rebounds. He had 36 points against North Carolina, and in the next game against Virginia Tech, 31 back-to-back games. The thing is, he took 21 and 25 shots in those games, and against Carolina, they were up 34-26 at the half and eventually lost in overtime. NC State was just 19 of 31 from the free throw line, and to put it in perspective, in that game, the team took 62 shots, and he took 25. They have one other guy in Ralston Turner who's pretty good, only 2 guys in double figures, but there's a lot to dislike for me about this NC State team. They came off a recent loss at Miami, didn't even show up, 85-70. To put that in perspective, the Hurricanes were the worst shooting team in the conference. They shot 58.7%, set a season high for scoring, and NC State had the lead at the half and still got blown out. They were only 16 of 24 from the line. The negatives are plentiful. They're a bad rebounding team. They're the worst three-point shooting team in the ACC, 29%. They're second to last in scoring defense, and they're horrible at the free throw line, 65%. That ranks 9th in the NCC. So I give a thumbs down to this NC State team. All right, let's go through some of the offers we have. We'll start with you, Jeff. You're off that 10-1 weekend, a perfect 5-0 with that 5-0 of that 5-play countdown you had. I'm not going to ask you to go 11-0, but what do you have coming up this weekend?
Well, I'm going to try, but this week I have 4 plays. You're going to get a trifecta Saturday. Plus, if you sign up early, you get a high roller tonight, 4 plays. That will include my payback game of the year. It's off of $15. Call LVSS 1-866-575-8916, 1-866-575-8916. A trifecta, a high roller, payback game of the year off of $15. 1-866-575-8916.
All right, you can get the rest of the tournament right through April 7th with Mr. Vegas for $35. That's plays every day, including a pair of games of the month going this weekend. 1-866-896-1627. And Jim, you hit that Shadow Shocker game of the year last Saturday. You just talked about Virginia in the ACC. That was the play. It wasn't even close. And you have another game of the year coming up for this Saturday for those who might have missed out.
I do have a college rivalry game of the year coming up on Saturday. That's part of a 3-game package that, let's call it the college parlay on Saturday. But, of course, you can play them all separately as well as parlay them as well. That's $200 online, but you can do it for $9. You can get this whole package and a high roller for $9 small grocery dollars. That's right. Not $10, not $20, not $100, 9 small grocery dollars. Make the call, 1-866-841-1655. You get the 3-game package on Saturday. You get a high roller going tonight, and you get a guarantee that if the 3 games don't all win, that's right, don't all win, you get the Tourney for free as well. $9, 1-866-841-1655.
All right, make sure you take advantage with these offers from these Vegas pros. Remember, they live and breathe these games day and night. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good luck with the games, and we'll see you next week with another edition of Pro Line.